Okay, the following is a video over Tutu, which is called Logic Notes. And what we're going to do with these, it's kind of a fun activity. These are called logic puzzles, okay? So this is a logic puzzle, and you're given a certain amount of information, and you have to find out the names of the women, their last names, and then the colored dress that they wore. So I'm going to show you how to go through this, how to use this information. So we're trying to match up. So we want to match up um, the first, the last name, and then the colored dress that they wore. Okay. And so what we can do, we're going to go through these. I'm going to go through these probably about 4 or 5 times just because I kind of have to use this information. Once I go through all the information, I don't have everything filled out over here yet. This was kind of a little chart to kind of help you out. And then once I go through it, I'll have to go through it a few more times because I'll pick up more information based on the chart every time I do this. So, okay. So bear with me. Okay. Number 1 says, the girl who wore a blue dress and Miss Mathers do not have the first name of Marjorie or Ramona. Okay. So here's what I can conclude from this. Okay, I have this statement. I'm trying to draw some conclusions here. It says the girl who wore a blue dress and Miss Mathers. Okay, so what that tells me is because it has this word "and" in here, that the girl who wore the blue dress and Miss Mathers, those are two different people. Okay, so I know that Miss Mathers, and here she is over here, did not wear a blue dress. So I'm going to go ahead and X that out. Okay. All right. And then I know that Miss Mathers does not have the first name of Marjorie or Ramona. So Mathers is not Marjorie, nor is she Ramona. Okay. And I also know that the girl in the blue dress, whoever that is, does not have the name Marjorie or Ramona. Okay. So the blue dress is not Marjorie and it's not Ramona. Okay. So we'll come back to this. Okay. Maybe this will help us out later. Currently, that's all I can get from it, or as far as my brain is telling me. Okay. Now, here's what I've got. It says either Miss Oblinsky or Miss Smith, who wore an orange dress, is named Pamela. Okay. So here's what I've got. I've got that Pamela is either Miss Oblinsky or Miss Smith. Okay, so she's either Oblinsky or Smith. That means that she is not Clausen, Jensen, or Mathers. Okay, so Pamela, all right, Pamela is not Clausen, Jensen, or Mathers. Okay, now here's another tidbit of information. Okay, it says either Miss Oblinsky or Miss Smith who wore an orange dress. So guys, I know that Miss Smith wore an orange dress. Okay, so when I come here, I'm going to put a happy face, okay, that Miss Smith wore an orange dress. So what this now tells me is that Smith did not wear green, she did not wear blue, she did not wear pink, and she did not wear yellow. She only wears orange. So if she wears orange, she can't wear any of the other colors. Now the other thing is since we know that Miss Smith wore the orange dress, I know that Oblinsky, Mathers, Jensen, and Clausen did not wear an orange dress. Okay, so here's what I've got. I'm going to put the first name, the last name, and the color of dress. All right, so just so we know that Smith, okay, wore the orange dress. Okay, and I kind of just want to fill this out and make sure I've got all these lined up and ready to go. Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, it says Marjorie is not Miss Smith. Okay, so Marjorie is not Miss Smith. Okay, that means that Marjorie, if she's not Miss Smith, Marjorie did not wear the orange dress either. Okay, all right, and she did not wear a pink dress. Okay, so we're kind of narrowing this down. We're figuring out that Marjorie is either going to wear the green or the yellow dress. Okay. All right. So Marjorie is not Miss Smith, and she did not wear a pink dress. Okay. Nora, Pamela, and Miss Clausen. Okay, so check this out, guys. Nora, Pamela, and Miss Clausen So guess what, guys? Miss Clausen's first name is not Nora, nor is it Pamela. So check this out. Oh, we already have that. Clausen is not Pamela, but we also know that it's not Nora. Okay. Okay. Did not wear a blue or orange dress. Okay, so hold on a second. Miss Clausen, I know, did not wear the orange dress. Okay, so she could be the one that wears the blue dress. All right, now hold on. Oh, wait, okay. She did not wear a blue dress. Okay, so Clausen did not wear a blue dress. Okay, so the blue dress is either Jensen or Oblinsky. Okay, so now okay, hold on. Nora, Pamela, and Miss Clausen did not wear a blue or orange dress. So Nora did not wear a blue or orange dress. Okay. Pamela did not wear a blue or orange dress. So guess who did wear the blue dress? Gail. That's right, folks. Gail wore the blue dress. Okay, so now here's what we've got. Okay, I've got Gail wore the blue dress. I don't know what her last name is, but I know she wore the blue dress. Now, if Gail wore the blue dress, that means she did not wear the green dress, she did not wear the orange dress, she did not wear the pink dress, she did not wear the yellow dress. So guess who wore the orange dress, folks? Her name is Ramona. All right, so, some of this is just process of elimination. Okay, so I've got Ramona wore the orange dress. Now, Ramona, we already know that that's Miss Smith. Okay, so now let's check this out. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and say Ramona. Ramona, who's Miss Smith, wore the color orange. So let's go over here. I know that she is Miss Smith. Okay, and we can kind of narrow this stuff down. And I've got so Miss Smith is not Gail, is not Marjorie, is not Nora, is not Pamela. Okay, it's Ramona. So I can X out all the other ones. Okay, we're kind of narrowing this down. All right, and then, okay, so Ramona wore the orange dress, so she did not wear the green dress. She did not wear the pink dress, and she did not wear the yellow dress. Okay, all right. So now, here's what we've got. Okay, of Gail and Pamela, one of them is Miss Jensen. So that means that Miss Jensen, of Gail and Pamela. Now, check this out, okay? We've already figured out that, oh dear, Miss Pamela is Oblinsky. Okay, we've got a lot of things going on. Let me start off with this, okay? Of Gail and Pamela, one is Miss Jensen. Okay, so Miss Jensen is either Gail or Pamela, but Pamela, we've already said, is not Miss Jensen. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to say that Gail is Jensen, all right, who wore the blue dress. Okay, so check this out. All right, Gail is Jensen. Okay, so that means that Gail cannot be Clausen, she cannot be Mathers, she cannot be Oblinsky. Okay, and Jensen, all right, is Gail, so she can't be Marjorie, and she can't be Nora. Okay. So Gail, Jensen, blue. Okay, so it says of Gail and Pamela, one is Miss Jensen, okay, and that's who gets Gail, and one wore a green dress. So Pamela had to wear the green dress. Okay, and we know Pamela is Oblinsky because of how this is things are knocking itself out. So Pamela is Oblinsky, so let's write that. Let's write Pamela Oblinsky. Okay, and she wore the green dress. She wore green. All right, so we made a lot of progress on this, okay? And so she wore the green dress, so that means that Nora didn't wear the green dress, Marjorie didn't wear the green dress, okay, and Pamela didn't wear pink, she didn't wear yellow. Okay, so now take a look. I know that Marjorie wore the yellow dress, okay? So I'm going to put that in there. All right, so now we know that Marjorie wore the yellow dress. Okay, yellow dress. So that means that the yellow dress was not worn by Nora, Okay, and so now we have the pink dress. Okay, so here's what we've got. Okay, the pink dress was worn by Nora. So Nora wore the pink dress. All right, and we'll be able to figure out the rest of this. So Nora wore the pink dress. All right, so here's what we've got. I know Oblinsky wore green. Okay, so now we need to figure out the other ones. So Oblinsky wore the green dress. All right, let's fill this in. We've got 3 of these. Oblinsky wore green, so that means that Oblinsky did not wear blue. She did not wear pink. She did not wear yellow. Okay, and we also know that she did not wear. Wait, Mathers didn't wear green. Jensen didn't wear green, and Clausen didn't wear green. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So okay, hold on. I just see it now. Marjorie is Mrs. Clausen because this is all used up, and that man, we've solved it, folks. This is pretty baller, if you ask me. I've never done it just going through it once. I only have to go through it like 3 or 4 times. Okay, so that means that Nora would have to be Mathers. Okay, that's the only one left. Okay, because if Marjorie is Clausen, then she can't be Oblinsky. Um, and if Pamela is Oblinsky, then Nora can't be that, so Nora is Mathers. And so, you have to look, guys. I didn't use up all of this, but it definitely helped me out. It definitely helped me out make a decision that certain people had certain first names and certain colored dresses. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to get started on these. You will get stuck. Okay, these things will make you think. Okay, you will not get these on the first go around. My hope is that you persevere in trying to solve these, and you are actually able to get some things answered. Okay, I'm going to work on them myself. They are tough. All right, they will make your brain hurt. But guys, you know what? My grandma likes to do these. Okay, and my grandma is a pretty sharp lady. Okay, she's awesome. She's in her 90s, but she loves these logic puzzles. She loves to do, the crosswords. She really likes the jumble. I've tried to get her into Sudoku puzzles, but she really does. She really enjoys doing these because it keeps her sharp. Okay, as we get older, we can sometimes, maybe lose it, and we don't think as straight. But when you do these, your brain will hurt, your head will hurt, and that does actually make you smarter. Okay, it starts to connect more synapses in your brain. It helps with information to go through your brain a little bit faster. So if you did one of these every day, or a Sudoku puzzle every day, you may not always get it, but it makes you think. Okay, so these are actually really good for you. A lot of lawyers do this kind of stuff. A lot of cops use this kind of stuff to make sure that people are telling the truth and that all these stories work out and that they can do their job. So it's a very applicable stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really had a lot of fun doing this one. This was great. See ya. Bye.